We begin with a deadly school shooting in Madison, Wisconsin today.
Our team coverage starts with Nate Rogers, just out of the latest update from police. Nate.
Absolutely, Scott and Tia. Madison police wrapping up their 4th press conference about this very horrific shooting right now as we speak. We did receive just some new details within the last 5 minutes or so. The police chief has identified the suspected gunman as 15-year-old Natalie Rupnell. They say she goes by the name Samantha. She was a student at the school and apparently died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, according to police. Also, we learned that one of the first 911 calls that police received was from a second grader in another classroom. Listen in more on a timeline from the police.
A second grade student called 911 to report a shooting had occurred at school. Don't let that soak in for a minute. A second grade student called 911 at 10:57 a.m. to report a shooting at school.
Many students were reunited with their parents some 6 hours after this ordeal. Abundant Life Christian School, which teaches pre-K through 12th grade, has 420 students enrolled. After the shooting, kids were bused about 8 blocks to Dean Clinic, which served as a reunification site. Back at the crime scene, police have not left and plan to stick around for some time, continuing their investigation and diverting traffic. We spoke to neighbors that reside 500 feet from this school and witnessed the massive police response. Listen in.
I'm a Montessori teacher, and that's based on the premise that respect for self, respect for others, respect for the environment, kindness, courtesy. This just goes against everything, and children should never, ever experience this or be in that kind of danger.
It's disgusting, and it's disgusting that we as parents, grandparents, that we're just like, yeah, let's accept it. We accept this. This is, there just has to be stronger penalties, I think, or just parents, if you have guns, lock them up. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
So.
And again, at this time, police still not sharing a motive in this case. In terms of the victims, we do know that 2 students remain in critical condition, suffering from life-threatening injuries. We also know that a teacher and 3 other students were taken to area hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries. We've learned that at least 2 of those survivors have been released from those area hospitals. I'll now send it to my colleague, Dane Placco, who's been here in Madison speaking with authorities as well. Dane?
Madison's mayor says it's a modern nightmare. An active shooter inside a school, this time a female student firing on classmates and teachers before turning the gun on herself.
This is an incredibly sad day for our community. As you've heard, there is no danger to the community at this time, but our entire community has been impacted by this tragic incident.
911 calls about an active shooter came in shortly before 11 o'clock this morning from the Abundant Life Christian School on Madison's southeast side. Madison's police chief says officers were inside that school within minutes. They found the suspect, identified as a 17-year-old female student, dead of a self-inflicted gunshot. A teacher and another teenage student were both killed, and at least 6 other students rushed to the hospital, 2 in extremely critical condition. The school is a private Christian academy with 420 students ranging from kindergarten all the way through high school. School officials tonight say while there was no police officer assigned to the school and no metal detectors, students had been trained for a school shooting. Police say they had no prior contact with the school shooter or any warnings that they were a danger. Investigators quickly obtained search warrants for the suspect's home. Police say the family is cooperating and a 9mm handgun was recovered at the school. Buses were seen picking up the students outside the school, taking them to a medical building a few blocks away where they were reunited with parents who were understandably panicked. As for the shooter's motive,
Many of you have asked me about the why of this. Why did this happen? What do we know? What was the motivation? I do not know. But I will tell you this, our detectives are working hard in the investigative process to find out as many answers as we can so that we can further prevent these things from happening, not only in this community, but in other communities around our country.
So far this year, there have been more than 300 shootings at schools around the country. We're told both the FBI and ATF are involved in this investigation. In Madison, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.